Square fingers. Ever looked at your hands and thought, these look like little flesh bricks? Congratulations, you've got square fingers. And no, that's not an insult. It's actually a genetic signature that scientists have linked to specific ancestry patterns, particularly from Northern European populations. Square fingertips happen when the width of your fingertip nearly matches its length, creating that distinctive, blocky look. It's like your DNA decided practicality over elegance. People with square fingers are statistically more likely to have ancestors who survived colder climates, where shorter, stockier digits meant better heat retention. You'd think evolution would have made them prettier, but no. Function over fashion won this round. So next time someone compliments your strong hands, just know your Viking ancestors are smiling down at those compact little squares, and that's why your fingers look like tiny Lego pieces. Spatulate fingers. Now we're talking about fingers that look like they've been smashed with a tiny hammer. Spatulate fingers flare out at the tips, wider than the base, like miniature shovels attached to your hand. This shape is linked to genes common in populations from warmer regions, particularly Mediterranean and Middle Eastern descent. The wider surface area actually helps with tactile sensitivity and heat dissipation, which makes sense when your ancestors were crafting tools under the blazing sun. It's practical, sure, but also makes finding gloves an absolute nightmare. You'd think nature would consider modern fashion, but apparently survival trumps style every single time. People with spatulate fingers often have enhanced manual dexterity, which explains why so many artists and craftspeople have them. Your fingers literally evolved to be creative, and that's why your hand looks like it's ready to dig for ancient artifacts at any moment. Pointed fingers. Welcome to the aristocracy of finger shapes. Pointed fingers taper elegantly toward the tip, creating that refined, almost delicate appearance. This genetic trait shows up more frequently in East Asian populations and certain Central European lineages. The narrower fingertips correlate with genes that affect bone density distribution and connective tissue formation. Basically, your DNA said, let's make these hands look expensive. It's the finger equivalent of a perfectly tailored suit. You'd think having elegant fingers would come with some practical advantage, but mostly it just means strangers assume you play piano or come from money. Studies suggest pointed fingers may have evolved in populations with fine motor skill demands, like intricate textile work or detailed craftsmanship. So yes, your ancestors were probably the fancy ones at the village gathering, judging everyone else's chunky fingers. And that's why your hands photograph so well in jewelry ads. Conic fingers. The compromise nobody asked for, but everyone got anyway. Conic fingers are rounded at the tip, not quite pointed, not quite square, just pleasantly curved like a gentle hill. This is actually the most common finger shape globally, appearing across diverse populations because it represents a genetic middle ground. It's like your DNA shrugged and said, hey, this works. The rounded shape offers balanced functionality, decent in cold climates, fine in warm ones, adequate for both precision work and physical labor. You'd think being average would be boring, but conic fingers are actually the Swiss Army knife of digit shapes. They don't excel at anything specific, which ironically makes them excel at everything generally. People with conic fingers have ancestors from literally everywhere because this shape appears when different populations mix over generations. Your fingers are the genetic equivalent of a melting pot, and that's why they're perfectly unremarkable, yet somehow exactly what most people have. Mixed shapes, and then there's you, with fingers that look like they couldn't decide what to be, so they became everything. One finger square, another pointed, a third doing its own weird conic thing. This isn't a genetic malfunction, it's actually a sign of extremely diverse ancestry. When your family tree looks more like a family forest, your fingers reflect that beautiful chaos. Each digit potentially carries markers from different ancestral populations, creating a mix and match situation that would make a geneticist genuinely excited. You'd think your body would coordinate better, but apparently genetic expression works on a finger-by-finger basis. Some people inherit their mother's square thumbs and their father's pointed pinkies, creating hands that look like a committee designed them. It's the biological equivalent of wearing patterns that don't match but somehow still work. Your DNA said consistency is overrated and ran with it. And that's why your hands are a walking, talking family reunion.